In this exercise, we will turn on GitHub Pages. This is a pretty simple thing to do. There's really just a couple of places you need to click in order to turn GitHub Pages on. So from your repo, and I'll just remind you that you would be on github.com. So here's my username, and then I would go to my repo. Now I have a lot of repositories, but this is the one that I just made for the last exercise. So from your repo that you're working in, you will then click on Settings, which for now at least appears in the top bar. From there, you're going to go on the sidebar down to Pages. So Settings and then Pages. And then in GitHub Pages, you're simply going to tell GitHub Pages to turn Pages on by publishing from the main branch. So from that menu, I selected main, and then I'll press Save. That is pretty much it. I have now turned on GitHub Pages, but there's a couple things more that you should know about. So once I turn GitHub Pages on, or once I activate GitHub Pages, what that does is it will allow GitHub to host whatever's in your repo in a format that is live in the browser. So for instance, if you sent somebody this link to github.com, your username and your repo, they would see your repo with your code in it. They wouldn't see your code actually like working live. And if they clicked, for instance, on index.html, they would see your code. They wouldn't see a live web page. But once you turn on GitHub Pages, you will see over here on this right sidebar an area called Deployments. Now, I purposefully talked a little bit to give it a moment. It does take a moment before this pops up. So we press the Save button to deploy GitHub Pages from the main branch. And after a moment or two, we'll see Deployments. Now, from the deployment area, I can click on the link to GitHub Pages, and I'll see on the GitHub Pages deployments, here is the link to my published page. So here I'll control click because I'm on a Mac, and I'll open this link in a new tab. You might right click that. I like to have this open in a new tab. This is the page. So here's my live page. It's my username.github.io/the name of the repo. So if you wanted to share your work with somebody in a way that they could see it in a web browser, this is the link you would send them. This is one thing that my students trip over a little bit the first time around. So just keep in mind that the link to your GitHub repo hosts your code. The link to your GitHub page is where someone could actually see what your work looks like in the browser. And that one is going to end in github.io.